on in this particular episode. And so when Adam Silver says after the board of governors, right, that he never heard a whiff of anything around an endorsement deal with Kawhi or anything around engagement with the Los Angeles Clippers, what I want to know, Dan, is if the aspiration deal was in fact submitted and expressly approved by the NBA.
I don't find this angle all that interesting, but it does lead to something that is. So Adam Silver starts out with stating that he's never heard of aspiration before. 6 days later, he contradicts himself and he states that he has heard of aspiration before. And what may have prompted him to say this is the tweet that's now on the screen with me from Pablo. It reads, "But at Pablo finds out, just obtained a copy of Aspiration's $300 million founding sponsorship agreement, which must be submitted prior to its execution for NBA's approval and shall not be effective or enforceable until it is expressly approved by the NBA." So the implication here is that Adam Silver had heard of aspiration before because this founding sponsorship agreement must be approved by the NBA. I don't find this compelling, and I think this can be easily excused away. So let's just listen to a short clip from Adam Silver at the Front Office Sports Tuned In Summit.
There's a league approval process, but it doesn't go deep into, interviewing executives for every deal that comes through the league office.
And extending upon that, so we have Adam Silver. He's the commissioner of the NBA. He's doing a lot of different things. I'm sure there are many documents that pass through his desk. And for certain documents that he might review, there might be a team in front of him that is undergoing due diligence. And then he just looks over a document and signs it. He's not going to look over every last document in detail. And it's important to look through the lens of any other founding sponsorship agreement. How much due diligence is involved? How much time is Adam Silver going to spend on this? So this tweet, by the way, when we look at the language of if this is the founding sponsorship agreement, even the language doesn't say that it has to be approved by the NBA commissioner. It just says the NBA. But even if Adam Silver's signature is right on Aspiration's founding sponsorship agreement, I can completely see a scenario where he doesn't remember Aspiration, or he just so happened that he signed the agreement, he doesn't remember, or he didn't think a lot about it. So I don't see this as being that big of a deal. But what I do see as very interesting is Adam Silver's reaction to all of this. And so what we're going to do now is go ahead and let's first look at a timeline. So we have the podcast where we talk about the Kawhi Leonard no-show contract that Pablo releases on September 3rd. So that sets everything in motion. Then we have the September 5th podcast with Mark Cuban. Then there's the September 10th NBA Board of Governors press conference. This is where Adam Silver initially states that he's never heard of aspiration before. And then we have the September 16th Tuned In Summit, where Adam Silver has the interview with Dan Roberts, and he takes back his initial statement that he had never heard of aspiration before and states that he has heard of aspiration before. But focus in on the NBA Board of Governors press conference, because this takes place 7 days. So 1 week after the initial podcast is released is when Adam Silver speaks at this press conference. And he knows he's going to be asked at least a question around the Clippers scandal, right? So he's had 7 days to prepare. He's had 7 days to listen to the dialogue in the media. And now he's asked this first question at the NBA Board of Governors press conference. So let's go ahead and listen to this right now.
Actually begin roughly 2 weeks, and the rest of the teams not many days after that. So I just say we're really excited to get back to NBA basketball, and Tim, happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Great. We'll start in the middle, second row with Vinny Goodwill.
Hey, Adam, Vince Goodwill.
Hey, Vinny.
Concerning Steve Ballmer, the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, aspiration, what was your reaction when the report surfaced? And it seems with the CBA, your powers can be broad as far as penalties, potential penalties. I know there's an investigation going on, but just as far as how broad can you assess penalties, and what was your reaction when the announcement came out?
Well, when the podcast came out, it was news to me. I frankly never heard of the company Aspiration before, and I'd never heard a whiff of anything around an endorsement deal with Kawhi or anything around engagement with the Los Angeles Clippers. So it was all new to me.
The reason why I play the full clip is because what's going around right now is just the clip of Adam Silver's answer. But what's also telling is the question, and it's not the question itself, it's what is not in the question. That reporter did not ask if he'd ever heard of Aspiration before. And yet when Adam Silver answers, he says over and over again that in different ways that he has not heard of Aspiration before. So with that background, let's go ahead and listen to his answer again, because remember, he's had 7 days to think about what he's going to say. He can already anticipate this type of question about the Los Angeles Clippers scandal. And his initial answer, the first part of his answer, centers around him never hearing of Aspiration before.
The announcement came out.
Well, when the podcast came out, it was news to me. I'd frankly never heard of the company Aspiration before, and I'd never heard a whiff of anything around an endorsement deal with Kawhi or anything around engagement with the Los Angeles Clippers. So it was all new to me.
It was all new to me. I've never heard of Aspiration before. I've never heard of any of this before. So to me, this raises questions because this is what's on his mind, and this is how he chooses to answer this question that he knows is coming. And remember, the question doesn't have anything about whether or not he's heard of Aspiration before. And he really blurts all of this out to say that, hey, I've never heard of them before. This is all new to me. And he continues on. He really says the same thing multiple times. So now let's go ahead and go back to Front Office Sports. And now we're going to go a little earlier in the timeline where Dan Roberts gets into this and gets into the fact that Adam Silver hasn't heard of Aspiration before.
I think Pablo.
Just to be clear, I'm not sure if I said I never. If I said I never heard of it, I meant in the context of the accusations here. I mean, I certainly was aware of the brand, but I didn't know anything about it.
Got it. Yes, because.
Okay, that's a really, really interesting answer. And let's listen to it one more time.
Aspiration on the back of the courtside seats. I think Pablo.
Just to be clear, I'm not sure if I said I never. If I said I never heard of it, I meant in the context of the accusations here. I mean,
He's never heard of Aspiration in the context of the accusations here. All right, so now the question is, well, when have you heard of Aspiration? And why are you backtracking from this original statement? What caused you to change your mind? Was it Pablo's tweet? What was in Pablo's tweet, or is there something else in play? So let's listen to the last half of this.
Certainly was aware of the brand, but I didn't know anything about it.
Got it. Yes.
So he was certainly aware of the brand. Okay, what exactly was Adam Silver aware of, and when was he aware of it? Because if we look back to the tweet, that to me doesn't mean that much, and we can excuse that away. But is there anything else that he was aware of? Again, going back to what I was stating earlier, a paper comes across his desk, he signs it. Okay, you've signed off on a document that you sign off on maybe once a month or whatever it is. I don't know how often there are founding sponsorship agreements, but I'm sure there are important documents that he is signing off on a regular basis. But why did he react this way? Why did he react this way to the tweet? Is there something else in play? Maybe there's not. Maybe there's nothing in play. But to me, Adam Silver's reactions are revealing that there is something else, and they lead to now the follow-up question. Adam Silver, before we're in these accusations, so before September 3rd, or let's listen to this clip one more time because I want to get this right.
Seats. I think Pablo.
Just to be clear, I'm not sure if I said I never, if I said I never heard of it, I meant in the context of the accusations here. I mean,
Okay, so in the context of the accusations here, so this is somewhat ambiguous because how do we place the context of the accusations here? Is it since the initial Pablo podcast, or is it within any wrongdoing that has to deal with aspiration and the Clippers? So that's what's uncertain. But what I would like to know is exactly when Adam Silver found out about aspiration, what he knew at that time, and then what he's learned leading up to the September 3rd podcast. Because to me, Adam Silver's reactions here on September 10th at the NBA Board of Governors press conference, and then on September 16th at the Front Office Sports Tuned In Summit, these reactions lead to more questions.